This week is National Crime Victims' Rights Week, and all throughout the week, not just in Harrisburg, but throughout the state, groups are rallying in the hopes of creating stronger laws to help victims. Joining us on the Fox 43 Capitol Beat this morning is PA's victim advocate, Jennifer Storm. Ms. Storm, thank you so much for joining us this morning. How is this week different than other weeks?
I think it's different because it's the week that we really concentrate our efforts on creating awareness, highlighting the different laws that potentially we're trying to pass, talking about the services that victims can access, and really just trying to elevate the voices of survivors. When
it comes to advocating for victims' rights, which bills, what legislation is your office really pushing hard for right now?
So our biggest piece of legislation is Marsy's Law. And Marsy's Law would provide a constitutional amendment in Pennsylvania to basically elevate the existing victims' rights that we have in statute and make them constitutional rights. What that does is it really provides equal footing for victims with offenders when they're walking into court. Right now we have statutory rights, but they're great and they work. However, when they're violated, we have zero remedy for them. If we make their rights at the constitutional level, we'll be able to have legal standing for victims and create remedies when their rights are violated.
I know there were a handful of domestic violence bills that were introduced a year ago that just recently passed through the state Senate maybe a week or two ago. Why did it take so long, a full year for that matter, for that process to play out?
They were tough bills. We had 7 bills come out of the Pennsylvania Senate with unanimous votes, which is truly historic. You don't see that every day. So it took a lot of advocacy. It took a lot of awareness and education, but we did get 50-0 votes on all 7 bills. We're hoping that the House will take 6 of them up. The 7th is actually on the governor's desk and will be signed on Monday.
Is Pennsylvania doing a good enough job in terms of advocating for victims' rights, whether it's the Me Too movement going on right now or the domestic violence situation? Is Pennsylvania doing good enough in your eyes?
I truly believe Pennsylvania is a leader. I have the opportunity to represent us nationally, and I'm always very proud to do so because I do think we're very forward-thinking in our legislation and our services. Where we do fail is we're one of 15 states that does not have a constitutional amendment for crime victims. We're going to remedy that.
And that's Marsy's Law.
That's Marsy's Law.
Clearing that up.
Yes.
You come across hundreds, if not thousands, of victims every single year. How do you test their credibility when they come to you?
For victims of crime, if they're coming to us for services, we believe them. We want to make sure that they're supported, that they're given all the supportive services that they need. In the very rare instance that a survivor comes forward or someone comes forward and it's deemed that their story might not be what they're presenting it to be, we know there's other issues surrounding that person, so we want to make sure that they're supported and they have the resources that they need. People don't disclose victimization without really having had some type of traumatic experience that they need to talk about. False reporting is incredibly low. So we believe first and we provide supportive services.
Have you run into those instances before where there is a false report or someone that through research, back channels, whatnot, you find out that someone is maybe not being as upfront with you as you would have hoped?
Personally, I've been in this business for 20 years and I never have.
News this week about the 6 additional Catholic dioceses mentioned in the grand jury report, the allegations of clergy sex abuse. This has been ongoing in the state for a couple years now. It's a national issue going all the way back to Boston in 2001. Your office is advocating to eliminate the statute of limitations. Many opponents, though, say that this would be unconstitutional. Your thoughts on that, and does the state Supreme Court need to get involved in this? Because it hasn't yet.
It hasn't. It's not unconstitutional in homicide cases. We don't have a statute of limitations for filing charges for survivors to come forward and engage the system. I don't think it's unconstitutional. I think that what we know with delayed disclosure in sexual violence cases, we need to be more mindful that it takes survivors time. We need to also understand and appreciate the tactics that offenders use. They know there's a statute of limitations. They know that they can time bar a victim. So they use threatening tactics. They intimidate their victims. Oftentimes these victims are very young when the assaults are occurring, and they're not fully understanding that they do have rights, that they can be safe and disclose.
If someone's watching this right now and is just familiarizing themselves with your office for the first time, they have something to tell you, where can they go for more information?
ova.pa.gov has all of our resources, has our contact information. I would encourage anyone to reach out to us. We have a state map that'll link to every single victim service provider in the state. There are victim service providers in all 67 counties.
ova.pa.gov, and just in case, we'll have all the information on our website as well, fox43.com. Jennifer Storm,